Hey everyone, and welcome to today's episode. So we're still continuing with this mini training. This is number 3 in a series of 4 episodes. And in this mini training, we are exploring, or these mini trainings, we are exploring the pillars which I believe need to be in place for us to fully flourish, for us to be connected to our deep truth, to show up authentically, and to really have access to everyday pleasure, to live from a place of passion, purpose, and aliveness. So the way that I see this connecting to devotion is I see that embodied living is an act of devotion. And I'm not speaking here about devotion in the sense of religion, but devotion as in attending to giving your attention and your intention to something. And in this case, we are attending to our feminine feeling. The currency of the feminine is feeling. And we are attending to our own inner aliveness. We are attending to our own sovereignty and to being the authority in our own lives. As women, our power lies in our connection to our bodies. Our power lies in the way that we relate to our bodies. And when a woman is in her body, when she's connected to the wisdom and the truth of her body, instead of getting lost in her mind and living from the neck up, living only in her head, she really is self-aware. She is in tune with the ebb and the flow of her emotions and her feelings, and she's living fully alive. She's radiant. When a woman is embodied, when she's connected to her body, she's also connected to her own pleasure. And her courage is a deep, deep well that really allows her to face any challenge that life sends her way. We can develop the skill of becoming sensitive to these subtle, more nuanced feelings and sensations and messages that are available in our body. And this is what a movement practice ultimately allows you to do. So movement practice is not a dance, although there may be some dancing involved, but it really is a unstructured movement flow. And I learned this in my feminine embodiment coaching training. And this is also one of the first tools that I teach my new clients. The purpose really is to feel everything that's present and to not change it in any way or to shift it or to transform it, but really for you to meet yourself where you are. So the second practice that I want to share with you is aligning with your cycle. And full disclosure here, I'm in the season of perimenopause in my life right now. So the way that I align with my cycle, the way that I work with my cycle is going to look different to someone who is still bleeding regularly. Now, one of the big things for me that happened when I started tracking my cycle is it brought me into deeper alignment with myself. So, and I think what's really powerful with this is once we start listening to our own bodies, and once we really start feeling and becoming sensitive to our needs and what we require in order to show up more powerfully, it really does leave us more empowered. It really allows us to become sovereign in our own authority. And I think so often as we grow older, as we go through life, it's very easy with all of the things that happen to us. You know, we all have different life experiences. And I think it's very easy to end up feeling disempowered, to end up feeling like a victim in your own life story. And for me, aligning with my cycle is a beautiful practice to work with something which is unique to me, to discovering that the depth of insight which is unique to me, and then to live my life from that place. The third practice and the last practice for today that I want to share with you is how to set healthy boundaries. So our boundaries really inform everything that we do. It informs all of our decisions, and it teaches other people how to treat us. And it's also an expression of what we find acceptable or unacceptable. Many of the women that I speak to, when there is a boundary, a lack of healthy boundaries, typically what happens is you fluctuate or you oscillate between the two extremes. So the cycle looks like this. You start by having let's call it a leaky boundary or a porous boundary. So this is overgiving, saying yes even if you don't want to. And then there is a resentment that builds up. And then once the resentment is strong enough for you to draw a line in the sand, you veer over to a rigid boundary where you don't say yes, you don't give an inch, you are very strong in standing up for yourself. And then you start feeling guilty because of this. So slowly the scales then tip and you go back to the porous boundary until you feel resentful, and then the whole cycle repeats itself. And again, this is something that we all do it. We all do it to some extent. So that's nothing to feel guilty about. That's nothing to feel shame for. The power lies in recognizing this is how I'm upholding boundaries, and then taking the steps towards embodying healthy boundaries. So for us to really show up authentically, for us to show up as who we truly are, we need to know who we are. We have to devote ourselves to accepting all of who we are. So if this is something that you want to explore, then I invite you to hop onto a discovery call with me so we can talk about how I can help you. We'll explore where you are right now in your life and what it is that you want instead. And I'm going to leave a link for you to apply for that discovery call or to book that discovery call. I'm going to leave a link for you in the description. I really hope that you found today's episode very helpful and insightful. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.